Hello, folks. WrestleMania season is upon us. I am so excited. I love this time of year. Absolutely love it, and I'm very excited for many of the matches that we have to look forward to on the card. And so in this video, I thought I'd get into the top 5 matches that I'm most excited for. Now, currently as of this video, I think there are 10 matches announced, so let me just preface this by saying I'm looking forward to all the matches, okay? And this is just my personal top 5 most anticipated matches. They're going to be different than yours. Wrestling is subjective. I'm sorry I even have to explain this, but this is YouTube, so I have to. AJ Styles vs. LA Knight. I have this in at number 5. This is really in no particular order. This is just the first one I felt like showing. This is a huge spot for LA Knight. Last year, he wasn't even on the card, and they were in LA. I thought that was a huge miss by WWE. LA Knight was red hot at the time, and not having him on the card to even come out and cut a promo was wild. And this year, he's got the AJ Styles match, which I've touched on it in previous videos, has kind of become the marquee, work rate match of the night, for lack of a better term. AJ Styles is kind of this generation's Mr. WrestleMania. He's kind of took up the mantle in place of Shawn Michaels, right? He just is old reliable when it comes to putting on a banger WrestleMania match. And him and LA Knight have built this feud over the last couple of months, and it's really become heated on TV in recent weeks. So the match has a good amount of heat to it, and I think it's low-key. It's flying under the radar. You know, it's not a big title match. It's not going to main event either night, obviously. But LA Knight has a huge chip on his shoulder. You know that about him. I mean, that's who he is as a character, right? He's been slept on for so long, and now in his 40s, he's finally getting that WrestleMania match. AJ Styles, another guy in his 40s, even older than LA Knight. He has had WrestleMania matches. In the past, of course, he's had great WrestleMania matches. But you gotta think AJ Styles is always out to steal the show. That's who he is as a character. He's the phenomenal AJ Styles. So I think this match is really lining up to be a show stealer. Low key, do not be surprised if this match, whichever night it is on, night 1 or night 2, ends up being match of the night. It would not surprise me in the least. I have that much, that high of hopes for it. Now, this is a match where you want to get into predictions real quick. I think LA Knight is going to get the win here, and I think it's going to set him up for a title feud. Whether that's going to be a mid-card title, like going after a Logan Paul, or, they usually do like a brand shakeup following Mania, so maybe he would even go after Gunther in the IC title. Well, who knows what happens with that match, But I do think LA Knight goes for a title. Could even be a world title. We'll see what happens. LA Knight could really use this win. AJ Styles doesn't need it. He's gonna put on a great match. He gets more out of that at this point in his career. And I am super excited for this one, guys. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the next match that I am most looking forward to, most hyped for. Of course, I have Jimmy vs. Jey Uso on my top 5 most anticipated matches for WrestleMania. I mean, come on. It's not often you get brother versus brother. Well, it's happened a time, 2, 10, 3. It's happened twice, legitimately, and then another in kayfabe. But I think this has a chance to be the best brother versus brother match, and that just because there have only been a few before, that is no short order. I mean, when you're talking about Brett versus Owen, that's not only one of the best brother versus brother matches, period, it's also one of the best WrestleMania openers, period, and I would put it as one of the best WrestleMania matches, period. So that's a lot of periods, but it's a high bar is what I'm trying to get at. And I think Jey and Jimmy are capable of surpassing it. And that's coming from a big Brett and Owen fan, okay? I love that match. I've rewatched that match so many times. But this is a dream match for both of these guys. They've gone on record of saying that in the past. I love the built-in story, other than what we've been seeing on TV for the last few weeks of them both main eventing night 1 last year. and now this year having a match against each other. That's pretty cool. And then you have these the whole Bloodline rules potential of the tag team main event, the implications that holds, you'd have to think that this match is going to hold some kind of ramifications leading into that match on night 2. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Is Jey going to just get brutally beaten down and then he's incapable of helping out Cody on night 2? Or vice versa? Is Jimmy going to be so hurt that he's unable to assist Roman Reigns? Is it going to be a moot point because Cody and Seth are going to win their tag match, so neither of these guys are going to be at ringside? I don't know. That's the exciting thing. There's a lot going on outside of the match, but then the match itself is going to be fantastic because Jimmy and Jey Uso are both just fantastic wrestlers at the end of the day. They're great tag team wrestlers, but we've seen Jey shine on his own. And this is going to be Jimmy's really first time to get a lot of shine. Usually we see him jobbing out to people on SmackDown, but now he's actually going to get some time, you would hope, to really show his stuff and show that he is just as capable as Jey. And that is kind of the story within the story, and that's why I'm putting this match in my top 5 most anticipated matches. For WrestleMania, I know you guys are also looking forward to this one. And if I'm going for predictions, I mean, the sim going on before your eyes notwithstanding of Jey just completely squashing his brother, I'm going to go with Jimmy winning the match. And I think he's going to do so with some chicanery, some outside interference perhaps. I think he's going to be underhanded. But I think this is one for quote-unquote Big Bro. So that is my 4th match. The Ring General Gunther defending the IC title against Sami Zayn. I mean, do I really need to explain this one? You got Sami Zayn, who last year around this time was red hot, obviously, main event at night 1. You've got Gunther, who's been about as hot as a heel as the company has had over the last decade. Of course he is. He's the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion. He's had back-to-back awesome Royal Rumble showings. He's booked strongly, consistently. He beats everybody who comes in his way. And so you got Sami Zayn, who, of course, he's the ultimate underdog, right? The underdog from the underground. This is a match made in heaven. Stylistically, storyline-wise, I know a lot of people were upset they wanted Chad Gable to be in this spot. I get it, I understand. But I think to dismiss Sami Zayn is a huge mistake. He is capable of making you believe that he can win this match. He's going to garner a lot of sympathy throughout this match. There's going to be many moments where you think he's going to win and dethrone Gunther, and who knows, maybe he will. As for predictions for this match, I think you're going to see Gunther retain. And do not be surprised if you see a cash-in from one Damian Priest in this match as a way to get the title off of Gunther so that he can go into world title feuds, and as a way to get the Money in the Bank briefcase finally off of Damian Priest, who has held it for entirely too long at this point. But the match is going to be great regardless. I think this is probably, like, if I were going to take betting odds for match of the night, if such a thing existed, this would have to be the favorite, right? It's just too obvious. It's too on the nose. I mentioned earlier AJ versus LA Knight was probably going to be match of the night, in my opinion, but that was my sleeper pick, right? This is the obvious pick for match of the night. Gunther doesn't miss, okay? Sami Zayn very seldomly misses. You know, I can't tell you a stinker offhand he's ever had. So, yeah, this is going to be a great match. My official prediction is Gunther, but nonetheless, regardless of the result, this match is one of my top 5 most anticipated matches for WrestleMania. I know you guys are looking forward to this one as well. Bayley versus Io Sky. You know I had to have this one on the list. This is my number 2 for top 5 most anticipated matches of WrestleMania. What a beautiful story, you know, between Bayley and Damage Control. It's really a tale as old as professional wrestling itself. The outsider getting booted from a faction of who she thought were her friends, her allies, her comrades. It's been a beautiful tale, and no matter how many times we see it, it's always good, right? That's why it works. And seeing it happen to Bayley, who originally, when she came in as one of the 4 horsewomen, she was kind of the underdog of that group, right? She didn't have as much fanfare initially as the other 3. And I'm here to tell you right now, Bayley, in my opinion, is the standout of those 4. I know that's a controversial take, it's just my opinion, but I think Bayley is fantastic on both sides of the spectrum as a heel and a babyface. She does both incredibly well. I think Sasha Banks is a much better heel than a babyface. I think Charlotte's a much better heel. And then I think Becky is a much better babyface. Bayley can do both. And she's a hell of a wrestler, and I'm so happy that she's finally going to have her big WrestleMania moment here. Io Sky, I'm also just ecstatic to see in a big spot at WrestleMania, because as far as in-ring work goes, Io Sky is right up there among the best, in my opinion. She takes these bumps that just look so brutal because of her stature. So this match just has a lot going for it. You know it's going to be good bell to bell, but I love the story that's going to be told within the match, and that's what it's all about. This is about Bayley finally getting her revenge, Io Sky getting what's coming to her, and if you couldn't tell by now, I'm predicting a big Bayley babyface victory in a match that I'm sure is not going to disappoint. So Bayley versus Io Sky, number 2 in my top 5 most hyped matches for WrestleMania. Absolutely. With all due respect to Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes, the title match that I'm most looking forward to is Drew McIntyre versus Seth freaking Rollins. And it's a match that arguably was not going to happen because of CM Punk. It seems like the story that was going to be told was Seth Rollins versus CM Punk. When CM Punk went down with that injury at the Rumble, it changed everything. And it actually kind of catapulted Drew McIntyre into being the top heel, arguably, on Monday Night Raw. And it put him in this cool triangle with Seth Rollins and CM Punk that, if you watched the latest episode of Monday Night Raw as a recording and you saw that promo between the 3 of them, in particular Drew and CM Punk trading lines back and forth, that was just absolutely electrifying. I am so excited for this match. I'm very excited for Drew McIntyre because in storyline here, this is his moment. Everything is going his way. It's his redemption arc finally coming to fruition. Yes, he did have that comeback title win against He Who Shall Not Be Named at the COVID WrestleMania with little fanfare, with no fanfare, as a matter of fact. So this is actually going to be his return triumphant WrestleMania moment, because it's, this is there's a big difference between doing it at the Performance Center and doing it in front of a sold-out arena at WrestleMania. And I think my prediction for this match is a Drew McIntyre win, because, as I touched on earlier, the storyline is Seth is just, his mind is in too many different directions at once. He is so focused on getting rid of the bloodline. He is so focused on main eventing WrestleMania finally and getting his main event match in that tag match later on night 1, that his head's just not going to be in the game. I think that gives Seth an out to lose the title, and that's why I think he's going to. So, with all that being said, it's going to be a fantastic match. I mean, Seth, you can say a lot about Seth Rollins in recent weeks. Maybe he's kind of been on the back burner in the whole Bloodline versus Cody Rhodes feud. But when you ring the dang bell, Seth Rollins is going to show out, and there's not going to be any overshadowing him. He has made the world title relevant, as Drew had touched on. He's made it an important title. It definitely is the working man's title. And Drew McIntyre, because of unforeseen circumstances, is just red hot. He is firing on all cylinders. It never really clicked Drew as a babyface for me. I think Drew was always meant to be a heel. He was always meant to be in this match and have this moment. It's just too perfect, So they say everything happens for a reason. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. But I don't think you can argue that good things came. I don't want to say good things came out of an injury to another man, but, it wasn't all negative. I'll say that. This is going to be an incredible match. I can't wait. Drew McIntyre, Seth Rollins, a very personal rivalry, and I'm going to say it again, one that I could see as a sleeper to steal the show. But guys, those are my top 5 most anticipated, most hyped matches for WrestleMania. I'd love to hear yours. Let me know in the comments below. Do all the YouTube stuff for me, yada, yada, yada. And I will see you guys next time. Take care.